Basic Training for CCTV. Welcome to this webinar, which is a part of the CCTV training program. The duration of the webinar is approximately 20 minutes and it is performed in English only. This webinar will give you a basic introduction to Triax CCTV surveillance. This will include a short introduction to cameras, recorders, and accessories. This training level is basic and is for everyone. There are no training prerequisites. This webinar will be available as a MP4 video with English audio. First we will talk about the environment in which Triax CCTV can be installed and used. Triax CCTV can be installed either on a coax cable installation, with the HDTVI cameras and recorders, or on Ethernet with the IP cameras and recorders. The installation can range from 1 camera, and up to 16 cameras on one recorder. The cameras can be powered with a local power supply, or through centralized powering like PoE or RG59 Siamese cable. Cable length can go up to 300 meters, on coax cable, utilizing a local power supply. All Triax CCTV cameras are rated IP66, rendering them dust-tight and resistant to water spray like heavy rain or even water hose. Comparing HDTVI to IP. HDTVI is an abbreviation for High Definition Transport Video Interface. HDTVI delivers reliable HD up to 1080p, without quality loss. Employs the same installation method, cables and connectors as traditional analog CCTV, reusing the existing coax installation. Monitor live video without time lag or latency. Transmit HD video up to 300 meters over RG59 cabling, making it the ideal HD format for long-distance cable runs. HDTVI recorders are capable of recording video from analog and IP cameras, meaning systems can be upgraded as required. The HDTVI recorder can deliver composite video output that can be modulated onto the local TV system. In IP, higher megapixel HD cameras deliver superior image quality. The clearer the image, the easier it is to identify faces, objects and other details filmed by the camera. Just a single network cable is required when installing the IP solution. The Triax IP cameras are powered by the IP recorder, over the CAT cable with PoE, power over Ethernet. PoE-enabled switches can be used. The Triax range of IP cameras automatically connect to our IP recorders, eliminating complex configuration on both the cameras and the recorder. It is possible to connect directly to our IP cameras. The cameras can be used as standalone. The IP recorder can deliver composite video output that can be modulated onto the local TV system. Before we start talking about the cameras, there are some terms we need to know. We will start with IR. IR is an abbreviation for infrared. The IR used in the cameras is defined as near infrared and is just below visible light, if you look at it in a spectral range. So, how is that compared to normal known signals wavelengths, without going into details? Visible light is located here. Humans can see visible light which is in the wavelength from violet at 380 nanometers to red at 750 nanometers. Wavelengths beyond this range are invisible to human eyes. FM and TV is down here. The wavelength is much longer down here. X-ray is up here, the wavelength is very short for the signals in this end. Approximately here is near infrared, right below visible light. So, why IR? Why not normal light? During nighttime, infrared light can be used to provide discrete or covered illumination for CCTV to minimize light pollution or to provide very long-distance illumination. As normal light, the eye, or camera, relies on the light reflecting from surfaces. Light reflects off an object, and if that object is in your field of vision, it enters the eye. IR relies on reflections, more than daylight, a torch, or spotlight. Some surfaces absorbs IR, so the effect can be diminished. Therefore IR light distances are defined as up to. In example, up to 20 meters, since the environment has a greater impact on the performance. The same camera can perform very differently, in two different locations. Next term is varifocal. Let's start with the opposite, fixed lens camera. A fixed lens camera gives you no possibility to zoom in or focus on an object. The fixed lens have a static field of view, called FOV. The varifocal lens cameras has the ability to give you an optical zoom range, like on your normal pocket camera. The ranges is typically from 2.8 to 12 mm zoom, where you will have a wider fisheye coverage in the 2.8 mm at 90 degrees end and a more narrow coverage in the 12 mm end at 22 degrees. If you are uncertain about the placement and the coverage of the area you need, we will always recommend the varifocal camera. This is due to the flexibility in the coverage in the varifocal cameras. The varifocal cameras is not motorized, so the zoom and focusing is done during installation and is fixed afterwards. First you adjust the zoom, so the camera covers the desired area, then you adjust the focus, to sharpen the image. If you reposition the camera, you need to manually zoom and refocus the camera. The next terms are DNR, WDR, and BLC. DNR is an abbreviation for digital noise reduction. Digital noise reduction is a method by which the camera's imager digitally removes noise from the image. 3D DNR is an advancement of this technology which enables noise to be filtered even more effectively from the image, even in low light conditions. WDR is an abbreviation for wide dynamic range. WDR improves the overall exposure throughout the entire image. It enables the camera to pick up greater detail in dark shadows, while making sure that the highlights don't get overexposed. The result is a natural-looking image with a more even expose, even under difficult lighting conditions. BLC, or backlight compensation, is like WDR. In images where a bright light source is behind the subject of interest, the subject would normally appear in silhouette. BLC allows the camera to adjust the exposure of the entire image to properly expose the subject in the foreground. WDR is a more effective alternative to BLC, because it handles multiple exposure zones to give both the highlight and low light areas a proper exposure. Looking at the camera range. Here we have two ranges, the HDTVI range and the IP range. Starting with the HDTVI. Here we have two types, dome and bullet. Both the dome and bullet cameras comes in white. Both types are available in 1080p at 2 megapixels. The dome and bullet cameras are available as fixed lens and as varifocal lens cameras. The cameras have an IR ring, which can deliver IR light up to 30 meters for the 1080p 2 megapixel versions. The HDTVI cameras uses 2D digital noise reduction and backlight compensation to enhance the quality of the image. The camera housing is all in aluminum, which ensures that All the cameras are rated IP66 weatherproof. In the IP range, we have similar cameras. Here we have 3 types: dome, turret, and bullet. They are only available in white. All 3 types are available in 2 resolutions, 720p at 2 megapixels and 1080p at 4 megapixels. The bullet cameras are available as fixed lens and as varifocal lens cameras. The turret is fixed lens and the domes are varifocal lens cameras. The cameras have an IR ring, which can deliver IR light up to 30 meters for the 720p 2 megapixel versions. The 1080p 4 megapixel varifocal version of the bullets can deliver IR light up to 50 meters. The IP cameras uses 3D digital noise reduction and digital wide dynamic range to enhance the quality of the image. The cameras can be powered over the CAT cable, with PoE. The IP range is under the specifications called ONVIF, which is an industrial standard/agreement for IP products within surveillance. This means that setting up and connecting devices are made easier. The camera housing is all in aluminum, which ensures that all the cameras are rated IP66 weatherproof. Now for the recorders. You need a central unit, to which you connect your cameras. This unit controls the cameras and often have recording capabilities. The recorders in the Triax assortment do all have recording capabilities. There are 2 ranges. Starting with the recorders for the HDTVI cameras. These are called THDR. The THDR comes in 3 versions, ranging from the THDR4, with 4 input, to the THDR8 and up to THDR16, with 16 inputs. The THDR range is tri-brid. This means it accepts analog, HDTVI, and IP as input. Among other specifications, the THDR supports 720p real-time recording and 1080p recording at 15 frames per second. The THDR supports coaxitron, which is a messaging system for passing control commands to the cameras. The recorders for the IP range is called NVR. As the THDR, the NVR comes in 3 versions as well, 4, 8 and 16. The NVRs are not tri-brid, they only support IP as input. Some of the advantages of the NVR range is recording 1080p at 25 frames per second, ONVIF support, compatible with high-resolution 4 megapixel cameras and PoE, among other things. Common to the THDR and the NVR is, they all support hard disk capacity up to 6 TB, HDMI connection at 1080p, USB mouse interface and supporting the Triax app. Installing Triax CCTV is easy. Once all the equipment is unboxed and connected, you power up the recorder and cameras. The first thing you see on the TV screen is the wizard. The wizard is a 4-step guide, helping you configuring the network settings, altering passwords, and setting up users and groups and defining smart detection. It also gives you a QR code for connecting your handheld devices to the recorder with the Triax app. This is called P2P or peer-to-peer. The Triax app is available on Apple iOS from version 6, and on Android from version 3, known as Honeycomb. The app gives you remote access to your recorder, if the recorder has access to the Internet. Since the NVR and the IP cameras support ONVIF, you will experience easy installation of the cameras. Plug in an IP camera to the NVR with a Cat5 cable, wait a few seconds and the camera is recognized and available in the list of cameras. If the camera isn't supporting OnVIF, you can try with plug and play. If the camera is recognized, it will be available in the list. This also goes for the THDR and the HDTVI cameras. As soon as you connect the camera, it will appear in the list, ready to be added to the system. When the system is up and running, you need to do some additional setup. This includes easy setup of motion detection. As default, the complete screen is sensible to detection. Simply deselect the whole area and select the area you want enabled for motion detection. Repeat this procedure for each connected camera. In this process, you need to be aware of local law and legislation about recording in, or close to public areas. Triax cannot guide you in this, we can only advise you to uphold these laws and legislations. To help you in this, it is possible to mask out areas with black boxes. Content behind these boxes is not recorded, giving you the possibility to record towards a neighboring building, without compromising privacy. The record plan gives you the possibility to save space on the hard disk. Setting the record plan to normal means the system is continuously recording on the hard disk. You can configure the recorder only to record to the hard disk when motion is detected or if an external alarm is raised. This conserves the hard disk and saves hard disk space, leaving you with a longer history of recording. If you need to document any intrusion and export the recording to a USB drive, this is easily done. Simply enter the search function, find the incident and export it to an inserted USB drive. You can either export it in AVI, MP4 format, or in a more secure DAV format. The recorders in both the THDR and NVR range do have additional advanced features like administrating users and groups, giving you possibilities to hide cameras or menus among other things, for unauthorized users. Face detection, which will store a short recording of all faces seen by one defined camera. More advanced setup of motion detection, adjusting thresholds and sensitivity. Web interface through a web browser or with installed software on a Windows computer. Alarm interface, where you can activate, in example, an audio alert or strobe light. Or get an alarm input from a tripwire or door contact. Linkage, for instance, if motion is detected on one camera, you can then activate recording on additional cameras. This can give you a more broad recording of an area. Receive notifications via, in example, email, if an alarm is raised or system malfunctions. Uploading images to cloud services or a FTP server. This is just some of the advanced features. Triax CCTV Intermediate and Advanced course will describe these advanced features, among other. Besides cameras and recorders, Triax do have accessories to both HDTVI and IP range. This includes connectors, tools, converters, and cables. Furthermore, there are power supplies for local or remote powering of the cameras and special hard disks made for surveillance. This concludes the webinar on Triax CCTV Basic Training and Introduction. Please visit our website or contact your Triax key account for further information regarding Triax CCTV. The website also contains information on available Triax Academy courses. Thank you for watching.